What's going on, guys? Dustin from Galaxie 500. Nope. What's going on, guys? Dustin from Galaxie. What's going on, guys? Dustin from Costly Hobby, and today I'm getting ready to drop the 390 that we rebuilt in the last video back in the engine bay of my 1965 Galaxie 500. Check it out. All right, so first things first, we got to drop it down a bit. So we're going to go ahead and pull the pins off of my hoist here. Come on. And get it lowered to the ground so we can actually work on this thing. Takes a minute. All right, and then for those of you still watching, we got to do something about this engine bay because this is not going to work for us. We got to clean this up a little bit to make our shiny new power plant really pop in there. And I think I've got just the thing. Check it out. Now, you guys have probably seen these things around already, but this is a turbo can. And this is what's going to make that engine bay look brand new. First, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping. So buried in this mess, you might notice I do have a pressure washer kicking around. Hasn't gotten much use lately, but this is gonna come in handy in a minute. All right, pressure washer's hooked up, so I'm gonna give this thing a bit of a degrease. I've got some pure concentrated oil lift, because I find it does the job the best. And then I'm gonna give this thing a spray down, and because it's like 2 a.m. right now, oh my God, don't inhale that stuff. And then because it's like 2 a.m. right now, I'm probably gonna leave it overnight and come back to it tomorrow so I can get some sleep, and then it should be dry by the time I look at it again. Oh yeah, that's already looking a whole lot better. Now we've got all the dirt and grime and oil and everything. We can actually get a surface for our paint to stick to. All right, guys, it is really late now, so I am gonna go to bed, but I've got the engine bay completely pressure washed and clean, so I'm gonna let that dry overnight, and then tomorrow we'll come back to it, scuff it up a little bit, probably remove a couple of things that we don't wanna get paint anywhere near, and then we'll throw the turbo can at it. And while that is drying, I'm probably gonna get the rest of the engine completely buttoned up so that we'll be ready to just drop it in here like a Lego. See you tomorrow. All right, guys, it is the next day and our engine bay is looking nice and clean, looking nice and dry. So we're gonna get this prepped to spray with the turbo can, but it is really late in the day right now. I wanted to get this started by morning. I had too many things going on throughout the day, so it is now about 5 o'clock. My goal for the night is to get the engine completely installed, maybe even running again. But in order for that to happen, I need to run to the parts store and grab some last minute items like oil, fluids, you know, typical stuff. And then Lordco is the only parts store that actually has the exhaust flange gaskets I need to get this thing completely dialed in, and they close at 6. It's about 5 o'clock now, which means I have an hour to get the camera set up, get this thing taped off, remove a couple of things I don't want paint on, get it sprayed with the turbo can, and then fly to the parts store as fast as I can so I can get there before they close. Let's go. Rule number 1 when painting with a rattle can, do not skimp out on the red Scotch-Brite. Skimp out a little bit. Do what you want. Looks to me like somebody has already done the old rattle can job in here before. We're just flaking everything off in here. All right, and then because we don't want to spray our nice, beautiful patina paint, got to tape off the engine bay a little bit. Admittedly, probably just easier to remove the fenders. Since when do we do things the easy way? Some painters will tell you that a good paint job starts with the masking job. And they're right. But this isn't gonna be a good paint job. All right, I'd call that good enough for the girls I date. I'm kidding, I don't date, I'm married. Don't tell my wife I said that. All right, we're all taped up, so we're gonna give this a good shake, get to spraying. All right. Look at that nozzle. This is my first ever experience with a turbo can, so I'm just gonna, oh my, okay. Oh my, look at this, look at this. That is beautiful. Okay, I'm getting paint all over all the things that I wanted to cover up. That's okay. Let's do this side. Oh, there's our gasoline spill. Whoops. Forgot about that. All right, guys, verdict is in. I love it, okay? That is probably the coolest rattle can I've ever sprayed. It covered so well. Look at this. That has to look at least like 11 times better. That is phenomenal, okay? And it covered in like 3 minutes, the whole thing. I love it.
I love it.
However, the can didn't last as long as I thought it would. I know some people claim that they can paint an entire car in those things. No, absolutely not. There's no way. But still really cool. All right, guys, like I said, it's getting a little late in the day. I gotta get to the parts store. So we're gonna jump in the daily rig. Go grab some parts real quick. See, normally I would have some tunes blasting, but I'm using my phone to film right now. So unfortunately, I've got nothing to connect to my old school aux cable with. All right, I've got you propped up on the tripod so we can experience this beautiful drive together. I missed my turn because I was fiddling around with the camera. Check it out, I just spent $183 on coolant, oil, a couple of flange gaskets. Parts are expensive these days. Okay, so I am finally back from absolutely breaking the bank at the old L parts store. $23 for a gallon of coolant. Actually, not even a full gallon. It's like 3.5 liters. Anyways, our paint is not dry at all, but that's okay because we're going to continue with the engine install anyways, and if we get any fingerprints or scratches or whatever, it doesn't matter because we can just go ahead and touch it up later on once the engine is inside the engine bay. However, you would think with a shop this sizable, there might be a little bit more room to work, but actually my hoist is all the way back there, and the only way to get it up here where I need to use it is to lift the car up and pull it through from underneath. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll get started. I'm just kidding, don't worry, not gonna do that again. Okay, so really, should just be the exact same thing we've already done, but backwards. So I'm gonna set the camera probably at a different angle, probably just over here somewhere so you get more of a parallel view. And I might fast forward through some of this because I imagine it should go pretty simply. I don't foresee any complications. No wood to knock on. Yeah, let's get going. you know what? This whole deal is gonna be backwards. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Oops. I am trying to hold the engine proper, oriented, and lower it with the other hand. And it is not going incredibly well. This fan might be a little bit bigger than the last one. No, I'm just gonna remove that. There we go. Okay. We're at least in the right ballpark now. Okay, so do you remember how I said I didn't foresee any complications? There are complications. So I knew this was an issue before I did it, but you can see my oil filter is hitting on my frame rail. I meant to put my other oil filter mount on because it bends at a 90-degree angle, and I didn't do that because I'm lazy. And then back here, you can see this exhaust manifold here. I didn't realize, but on this manifold, it comes straight back, whereas the one I took off actually goes down at about a 45-degree angle to connect to my pipe there. So I'm gonna have to pull this engine out, swap the oil filter mount, and swap that manifold out really quick. I don't think I have a gasket for this side, but I'm gonna see if I can get away with just using the one that's on there. Hopefully I don't snap a manifold bolt, because that sucks and that would set me back a lot and really derail this entire project. So gonna yank it out, get it back over there. Might take this moment to actually spin my engine around because I've got it going in backwards and it's putting a lot of strain on the hoist and a lot of strain on these guns. Okay, I've decided that I'm just gonna leave it hanging here and I'll deal with the whole backwards spinning around thing later on. Mainly because I don't wanna have to pull it all the way out, put it on a tire, lift it back up, put it back, just to get it right back where it already is, but obviously in a better orientation. I'll just fight with it a little bit. So while it's hanging here, I'm gonna change the oil filter mount here, and I'm gonna go and try and change the exhaust manifold on the other side. And so long as nothing breaks, we're gonna be A-okay. However, if you think back for a moment, you will recall that I actually decided not to drain this engine. So I'm gonna remove the oil filter and probably spew oil all over my nice fresh paint. Oh no, that's dry. I don't know if that's better. Okay, we got the new one installed, and you can notice it's black. It doesn't match the rest of our engine because the last time we did this, we had 0 class at all. So next up, exhaust manifold. We gotta take this one off and put front, that one back on. So we'll just give this a nice, there we go. I find the best way to do this is to just go in absolutely dry, no penetrating oil or anything, and just let her rip. Obviously that's not working, so I'm gonna grab the impact and a hammer. We broke it. Damn. Okay, so we broke an exhaust manifold bolt. I knew it was gonna happen. I didn't know it was gonna happen, but it was likely to happen. So I'm probably just gonna do that to the rest of them now, yard it off, see if I can get the studs out, maybe have to drill them out. I do have a tap and die set, so if I have to, I'll do that. I'm probably gonna do a bunch off camera because, well, that just sucks. Okay, manifold should be pretty much off. We did break all of the top 4, so we're gonna have a little bit of prying to do, and we'll come back and see what the damage is, see if we can get those studs out. This might not be the worst thing, as it never hurts to go through and re-tap these. Okay, that's actually a good manifold still. Sometimes you get these and the cast actually breaks around the edges here and then they're trash, but I could probably resell that. Oh, lovely. Okay, so you can see we almost got lucky. 2 out of 4 are broken at the head, and I got a set of backwards easy outs that I can just kind of grab onto those and hopefully twist them out with a little bit of penetrating oil. Maybe we'll get lucky. But then the 2 edges here, those ones are gonna have to be completely drilled out and re-tapped. I'll probably re-tap all of them anyways, but the drilling out process sucks, especially when we're still hanging on the hoist here. But I'm gonna go ahead and get to that. May or may not be off camera, not sure. Let's go. I told you guys I'm lazy. I didn't spray with penetrating oil originally because I didn't think I had any, but turns out I had a can sitting about 3.5 feet that way, and I could have just avoided all of this, but here we are now. Just give that a good bath. So fun fact, snapped exhaust manifold bolts is actually the reason I took the original engine out back before we gave the top end a rebuild. So this is kind of like deja vu. And for the record, this is a cobalt bit. I find that they do the job the best because they can drill through pretty much anything. We'll see how it does on a head bolt, but yeah, we'll give it a go. Ooh, I should be wearing some safety goggles. All right, safety goggles, back at it, here we go. All right, I've got all the holes drilled out, so now we're just gonna use this, make some new threads. Now we can throw the new one back on. I'm just gonna reuse this gasket because it's actually a crush gasket. So I'm hoping we'll be able to get away with it. Oh, and that just broke. Well, that's what I was talking about. Really weak at the edges. Okay, so I did get the exhaust manifold on and the oil filter mount on, but I broke this little nub right here on this exhaust manifold. So I'm probably gonna have to just get another one. I did run it with a broken one before, but it had a really bad exhaust leak. So I imagine I'm gonna have a really, really bad exhaust leak on this one, but that's okay. I'm just gonna get it installed anyways. I'll come back and replace it later on, but for now, I just wanna get the engine in, get it buttoned up, and just maybe hear this thing run. That would be awesome for the night. It is so late, I could really use a win right now. So this is take 2 of trying to get the engine installed. I did not spin it around, so I'm just gonna have to fight with that. That's okay. I know I've said that 100 times already, but it's been a long evening, guys. It's been a really long evening. So I don't know, I might fast forward this. We'll see. You've already seen me kind of get it down there once, but I'm gonna get it dropped, get it lined up, see if we can get it actually bolted in. That would be really cool. And hopefully this time it'll just go smooth like butter. go. Success. That engine, that's installed. So full disclosure, that took way longer than it was supposed to. I've never had an engine install take that long and be that challenging. I was fighting with absolutely everything from the transmission mount, the position, just, I don't even want to get into it. It was rough. Anyways, you might notice that it is daylight again, and that is because after I finally got that thing dropped in, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I needed to go to bed. So we are now another day behind schedule, but that's all right because I'm gonna get this buttoned up in about an hour or so, and then maybe we can get it running. So I'm gonna set up another time lapse, get this thing totally dialed in, and we'll come back to this when we're on the home stretch. Oh yeah, and with all of my prying trying to get this in, I actually snapped my fuel pump. So it's laying on the ground somewhere. I gotta get another one swapped in, but that should be easy. Okay guys, so once again, this project is being delayed a little bit because I heard a really loud bang while I was doing up the bell housing, and check this out. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but this entire section of the bell housing just completely split off. So I'm gonna have to get another transmission. I think I might actually have one laying over there somewhere, but I'll see if it's a C4, which I believe is what this is, and kind of go from there, make sure that it works out for us. Okay, so I think I recognize my mistake where I went wrong. You see, when I took the engine out, if you remember, I was really concerned about taking the torque converter out with the engine because last time I did that, it actually damaged the input seal. So I didn't think I was supposed to do that. So this time I left the torque converter in the transmission when I took the engine out. And when I put it back in, I don't think it was lining up properly with the torque converter and the flex plate. And I think those jammed up. So when I was doing my bell housing bolts up, it wasn't lining up properly and it just snapped my bell housing. So now I'm gonna have to tear this transmission out of here, which is a much larger job, kind of a pain, but I think I have another C4 transmission laying in the corner. So I'm gonna pull that over here. I don't know if it's any good. It's absolutely caked in oil and shop dust, and it's been sitting around for a couple of years, and I've never had it installed in anything before. So I'm gonna try it out anyways and cross our fingers that it works the way we want it to. Let's go. Honestly, this probably shouldn't take too long. We'll make quick work of it. Okay, it'll take a little bit longer with a dead battery. Try this one out. Oh, way easier. All right. Okay, 2 of those. I'm gonna have to put these somewhere safe so I remember them. I lost one of my U-bolt nuts. Got it. Yeah, I was right. My torque converter was completely out of alignment. I thought I was right because one of the screws was lined up perfectly, but I forgot about the drain plug ones that need to have their own specific spot. Yeah, everything is preventable, but here we are. There she goes. Transmission. I gotta figure out how to get this off of here. That's one way to do it. Okay, so you can see my other C4 transmission I've got. I don't know if it works. It clearly hasn't seen much use. Just look at the caked up dust on this thing. Nasty. So I'm gonna grab that, drag it over there to our workspace, probably clean it up a little bit, throw it on the stand, and we'll just zip it right back up in there. I got this one dragged over here, and I was actually just giving it a bit of a look over next to the other one, and I didn't realize until I saw this one, I can actually just unbolt and take this bell housing and put it on this transmission, which I think I'm gonna do because I know this transmission is good. So I'm probably just gonna clean this one up a bit because it's got a bunch of oil and stuff on it from years and years too. So yeah, just gonna rob that, throw it on there, and again, we'll just pop it back in, no problem. It's pretty dirty, so we'll give this one the old shock treatment. Okay, and this transmission is gonna have a brand new bell housing in 3, 2, 1. Never mind. Apparently this bell housing has the same engine mounts, but a different transmission mount. These bolts right here are actually a little bit lower on this one than they are on the other one. They're about up here. All right, well, after a little trial and a whole lot of errors, I finally have a transmission that I can back up in there. So give me a few minutes to get this jacked up and bolted in, and if all goes well, we can finally get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Oh, at least you can't say I haven't gotten my steps in. Transmission jacks are like stair climbers. So we don't have enough room. They go straight up. Unless I could try to angle the engine. Don't know how I'm supposed to angle the engine though. And I'm using the only jack tall enough to do that. I got it. We're gonna use the engine hoist here. Okay. Not enough angle for us. Looking pretty angled to me. Oh yeah, there we go. It's going. I don't know what I did with my bell housing bolts. Oh yeah, I do. They're all on top of the engine. Way up there. Lovely. That wasn't very smart of me now, was it? Only 3 were up there. That's really all the guy needs. Okay guys, so I've got the new transmission mostly installed. I've just got to wrap up a couple of bell housing bolts, which should go easy enough. However, one thing I didn't notice before doing the install is that the output shaft on our new transmission is actually a 31 spline shaft, and our drive shaft is only set up for a 28 spline output. So I've decided that instead of changing the output shaft on the new transmission, I'm just gonna go to the driveline shop tomorrow and see if they can hook us up with a new 31 spline yoke that we can use this drive shaft with. Which means for the rest of the night, my goal is to get the remainder of this engine completely dialed in and potentially even turning over. I still have to install our coolant setup, a little bit of the electrical, and then our brand new Edelbrock carburetor and fuel. So I'm gonna get this thing dropped to the ground where I can work on it, and honestly, if everything goes well, it should only take about 25-30 minutes. It's a pretty easy job. But then again, if history is any indicator, I've already been wrong on this build too many times to count. So at this point, I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping it goes smooth. Let's go. So check it out. This is what happened to our rad hose when we overheated it the first time. It just kind of blew up like a really big balloon, and now she's softer than a dropped baby. Time to replace. All right, radiator going in. Plug wires. Now, if you ever wondered, the firing order on these is 154-26378, and this side is 1, 2, 3, 4 sequentially, and this side is 5, 6, 7, 8 sequentially, which is interesting because a lot of like small block Chevys, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, and 1, 3, 5, 7. Last but not least, crowning moment. Oh. Look at that. That's a beauty. All right, guys, just gonna button up the fuel system. I don't even have it bolted down yet. And the moment that is good to go, I'm gonna set the camera up over here somewhere, and we'll get this thing fired up for the very first time. Let's go. Yeah, still half of it on the intake, as you do. And I know the drive shaft's not in, but we're gonna put some ATF in it anyways, just because I don't want to burn up the transmission pump. I'm totally fine with just right out the back end of the transmission. That's expected, but I don't want to break anything. God forbid I have a funnel. No, I don't want to spill that on the exhaust. World's smallest funnel contest. It will do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Where am I spilling from? Oh. All right, well, our water pump is leaking just about as fast as I can pour it in there. Okay, well, we're just gonna run it anyways. We just won't let it get hot. All right, throw a battery in there. Probably did. But if we don't hear any hissing, then at least we hope we got the wiring right. Let's go positive. I don't hear anything. Nothing sizzling. Okay. You know what, for this moment, let's actually tear all this green stuff off. I want this done quickly, so we're gonna activate cheat mode. Let's turn the key on, shall we? Doesn't look like I got juice in that battery. Let's try another one. How about you? Turn that to cheap thing. Showing 11 volts. That's not going to be very much. I'm actually going to plug the booster onto this. We are blinking at 1 bar, 25%, which isn't very much at all. But while that charges, I'm going to go find the trigger starter. Cool. I've actually never used this thing, so this will be a cool experiment. One end to the red terminal, the other side to the starting terminal. Okay, this is the moment. Let's give it a shot. Nope. Oh, that got hot. Okay, well, something happened. I don't know what, but something. You know what? Maybe I'll play with this later. I think I'll just do it the old-fashioned way with a key. Nope. No juice there either. 6.4 to the coil, so that's right. Ah! Okay, I don't know what that was, but I didn't like it. Okay, so I have spent another hour messing around trying to figure out why this thing wouldn't turn over, double checking all of my wiring, making sure it was right, and it was. It turns out after all of that, it was actually just the gear shift not perfectly settled into park. So we're gonna go back to this little unit and see if we can get it to fire up. Again, one on red, and one on the starter terminal. All right, are we ready? This is it. This is the moment. It's gonna fire. 3, 2. Come on. Really? I don't trust this thing. I don't think it works.
One eternity later.
timeless? No. Probably not. Maybe let's double check her time. Oh. Oh. Lower back just popped. Ah, must be getting late. And this is about the only real trick I know, but you can use a pen to find top dead center by just sticking that down the old spark plug hole there. Feeling the top of the cylinder. Let's go up. Oh, maybe I was right there. Okay. So that's our number one at top. That didn't seem too bad. I wonder if we're 180 degrees out. No, maybe nothing we can't fix in about 3.7 seconds. Oh, right there. That's where we want it. Yeah, that's about perfect, I'd say. Okay. 3, 2. Oh, yeah. Lift with the back. And success! It's running right now. I don't want to run it too long because I have no coolant in there at all and it's leaking all over out of the water pump. But we got it running. It is running. I can hear a pretty rough cough over here. I think it's just our busted exhaust manifold leaking terribly. I'm gonna kill it before it gets too hot. All right, guys, I'll be honest. I'm gonna tap out, call it quits for the night. I think I'm probably gonna end the video here because it's running. It is running. I don't know if it runs better than before. I don't know if it's overheating. I don't know if this thing even moves yet, but I'm gonna have to save that for another video because I'm tired. This video is running way too long and you can see that my shop is just in disarray. So I'm gonna spend some time the next couple of days, get things cleaned up. I'll get this video posted as soon as I can. So again, if you like this content, give it a like, give it a share, comment down below what you think, and subscribe to the channel. It would really, really help me grow this. It's a brand new channel. I'm trying to get it out there. And if you don't like it, hey, I get it. I'm not for everybody, I understand. But maybe send it to somebody who you think would enjoy this content and maybe enjoy my face. I'll see you guys in the next one. The Galaxie is gonna be coming back. We got a lot more to do on it, but for the moment, I'm just a little tired. I wanna go to bed. We'll see you later.